Hello, and welcome back to yet another episode of Green and White brought to you by Argyle Live. We've assembled our best accountants and supervisor applicants and Barry from EastEnders to bring you the Argyle Life Awards. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and of course, as ever, join in the comments to tell us who you think should win each category as we go along. Forget the official club accolades. Tonight, we reunite for a very special Argyle Life Awards. Recipients of each award will win absolutely nothing but respect and admiration. So pour yourself a beverage, unless you're listening back tomorrow morning on any major podcast platform, and enjoy this year's ceremony. Joining me tonight is I'm not going to introduce everybody. You know who they are, a ragtag bunch of Argyle Life's finest. But before we get into the awards and before they're announced, the retained list is out. Youngsters Jack Endicott and Oscar Halls will depart at the end of their contracts. Alongside those is title-winning, Wembley-inducing Callum Burton, who will leave Argyle this summer after 3 seasons and 32 appearances and some penalty heroics. Does anybody have anything to say on Callum Burton? I don't all speak at once.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely played a part in getting us over the line, didn't he, in the second half of last season? I think he grew into it for sure, is perhaps the nice way of describing his first few games, but he very much grew into it. He did save those decisive penalties that got us to Wembley and made me abandon my principles never to watch a Checkatrade Trophy game to only see us lose 4-0. So thank you, Callum, for testing my morality, which, as it turned out, was paper thin. But in all seriousness, been a very good servant to the club. Very clearly, not the season he would have wanted to not play, barring those 2 League Cup games, but he's worked away hard in the background, I'm sure. And wish him the very, very best. Hopefully he can point to the fact that he's got a League One title on his CV and accordingly will get a decent club and thrive, hopefully, with any luck.
And also the fact that he seems to be a quality guy, because he seemed quite emotional about the way this season has gone. Didn't seem to try to hide that, but you wouldn't have seen that through his conduct, through the yes, the courts are open on Sundays. But you wouldn't have seen. He was obviously a real team player behind the scenes, and that will do well for his prospects, you'd think. But certainly you'd imagine that any discontent in the squad would have been difficult to manage with the way things were going at times this season. So he in his own small way probably did contribute towards the success this season. So we can thank him for that, as well as his contributions on the pitch.
I think there's no denial, obviously, that he's a top professional. I mean, I said about a lot of, no one's ever going to sort of slag off a player in the press, sort of open-handed. But I mean, I think I remember like when the first season they come in, so the one that we missed out on the playoffs. Just saying how much. Look, we know he wasn't as good as Michael Cooper, but it doesn't mean that he didn't push Michael Cooper to be better, And I think I remember Dan Scar possibly mentioning about he's possibly the best trainer in the squad, and it's stuff we don't see behind the scenes, but I do feel like he appeared to be the type of character that, even though he didn't get much playing time, was actually quite an important part to the sort of glue in is the characters you don't often see and the contributions that they make, which are sometimes the most important. And he did have a big contribution to last season. He stepped in. Yes, okay, there were questions about him at points and stuff, but he stepped in at a really pressure moment in the season and had some up and down games, but didn't disgrace himself. In particular, one very good save in the final game against Burton, 1-on-1, very sort of quick to get out and sort of spread himself early in the game. He was he's a goalkeeper we can look back on fondly and say thank you and clearly a very good professional, but also, he's at an age now where he just needs to go and get games, doesn't he? So maybe that'll be a sort of lower League One club or top end League Two club, and I'll wish him all the best.
Yeah, apologies to Callum if you're watching back on the visual platforms. I am creasing at some of the comments, not at your time with us, which I'm sure will be evident. As you know, as always, wish those three best of luck. As Finn touched on, it's time that Callum goes and gets that number one spot somewhere, whether that be League Two, League One, or lower end Championship, has been rumoured on Twitter. I just really want to touch on, I don't want to touch on all of the rumour mill. There's been quite a bit of it, but Sam, you are all in on the links to Steve Cooper.
That would be the most tremendous statement of intent, wouldn't it? It wasn't on the What Next podcast on Wednesday night. My first choice would have been Finn's, equally, going to go for Michael Skubala. I'm increasingly liking the sound of Liam Rossini the more I hear about him, but wow, if we could get Steve Cooper to come to this club, what an absolutely enormous statement of intent that would be. There are, quite a few people saying he's been seriously linked. Some people even saying he's been interviewed. Whether that is true, I don't know, but I think a lot of the people saying so are people who've got decent track records with info in the past, which is encouraging. A man who got Swansea to the playoffs in consecutive years on one of the lower budgets in the league. A man who produced title-winning form to take over Notts Forest when they were bottom and lead them into the playoffs, and then to go on and then win the playoffs. Some of these comments are clearly absolutely hysterical. I've lost my trail of thought. Yeah, what a good appointment he would be for us. Let's be honest, there are reasons to believe it may happen. He knows Neil Dewsnip from their time working together in England FA. He also knows Ian Foster. Maybe brush over that one. But I think it's possible. With the vague rumours that are doing the rounds on Twitter about investment coming in, I'm seeing Netherlands mentioned, I'm seeing USA mentioned. If there is money to lure Steve Cooper to Argyle, he's the signing, the managerial signing we absolutely need to go all out for. Throw the kitchen sink at getting Steve Cooper to come if we can. Skubala would be very exciting. I'm becoming more and more positive about Rossinia. The more I hear about him, Hull fans seem very unhappy he's gone. But Steve Cooper just knocks all of them out of the park. Get him in if we can.
I just want to push back a minute on Sam, because on the one hand, I do understand that Steve Cooper has taken a side that were looking like they might go down up to the Premier League and kept them there, and got a Swansea team who are otherwise pretty mediocre to the playoffs 2 years in a row. And I understand all of what Sam is saying. However, Michael Skubala has managed for 7 months in League One. He did win a couple of games 5-0, and he worked under Jesse Marsh. Who we all know the pedigree that Jesse Marsh brings to the game. So I want to just sort of temper Sam's dismissal of Michael Skubala a little bit, and just say I think that he would probably still be my number one choice if I could have him or Steve Cooper. I think just about Skubala's 7 months in League One and working under Jesse Marsh.
Can we have an award for least funny sarcasm of the season, please? And I think we just got a new winner.
Well,
new winner.
On the feedback left, they asked for, some people, I'm not sure who, asked for less laughing at comments. Sorry, can't give you that. And the other one was less in jokes. So yeah, John.
If you make...
No, I'm just saying.
Serious?
Just saying.
You very
Anyway,
much did work under Jesse Marsh, so he's got nothing wrong.
Right. Don't think there's anything else to touch on in the rumour mill. Not really. Sam sort of covered it. Awards. Let's move on. But before we dish out our accolades of our own, congratulations to Plymouth Argyle women who have been named the Community Club of the Year by the FA Women's National League. That's quite big. Anyway, should we move on to the awards? I don't really know which order to do these in. So should we just go for best home game? Should we just go down the list that I've got? Let's go in alphabetical order, clockwise order. John, best home game of the season. Which game is your nomination, please?
With the caveat that I did not attend all of them, I would say Leicester would be my nomination for that award. Obviously, Norwich was an amazing day, and to sort of do that to any team at this level, but particularly a pretty good team and one that has ended up in the playoffs, and to score 6 goals really in any game at any level is terrific. And you know, in any normal season, that would probably get the award for best home game. But Leicester was just different. It was just a different class of night. You know, the stakes, the lack of expectations that we had, just the sheer quality in their team, the atmosphere, you know, the full-time scenes, what it meant. Great goal, of course, as well from Mustafa Bundu. I think that's the only, well, not the only, it's the home game this season that will live on forever in my sort of like God tier of Argyle experiences in 20 years as a fan. So I would say Leicester.
Do we all have to nominate one each? Because I would have gone for Leicester. Is that the idea? Yeah.
Well, at least we get 4, I reckon. That'd be a good start. But
okay, I'm going to nominate one that I don't think many, because I think people will go for Norwich and Hull after me. So I'm going to go for one I don't think many people will go for, which was Stoke City at home. Just the way we absolutely battered them all second half. One of the, you know, people talk about all the amazing games in football being absolute goal fest. And I think one of the most underrated types of game in football is a game when you're really knocking on the door, and then get a late winner. We were battering Stoke. We had total control of the game. We had them penned in. And that goal line scramble, Callum Wright cutting down the left-hand side, Kundal gets into a bit of a, goal line scramble, and it falls back to Adam Randall, absolutely puts his foot through it, into the net. His first ever goal at Home Park in his 100th Argyle appearance. You couldn't write it any better than that. Stoke home was an incredible day. And yeah, Schumacher and Kundal had great celebrations at full time. Less said about where they were 6 weeks after that, the better.
Celebrating now that they've just earned themselves a glorious move to Staffordshire. John?
Of course, it was also, I mean, beating Stoke is something that every club dreams of, as we know. So I do see where Sam's coming from.
Adam, anything to add?
Oh, do you know, I'm gonna, at risk of dropping some of the obvious ones from the list, I'm going to follow Sam's lead and try and think of one that many may not have considered. I'm going to go right back to the start and say Huddersfield Town home, the 3-1 win. 13 years away from the Championship, you recognise you're at home first game. The atmosphere is obviously going to be something that many of us, to be honest, of a certain age, wouldn't necessarily have seen scenes before us being in the Championship. So to get us to the stage where we were there was obviously fantastic. To then put out what was objectively a good performance, get the win. That goal from Ballymumba, I mean, hey, we all wanted that to set the tone for his season. It didn't quite work out that way. But that moment of him beating all of those players and scoring from there was something that is very difficult to beat, actually, for many moments. There are a few that have been mentioned and will be mentioned, but that moment of Mumba scoring that one was terrific. And to get a win that, in the end, actually mattered perhaps more than we thought it might at the time, considering that both teams were at very similar ends and had very similar records at the table. Had we lost that game, had Huddersfield picked up 3 more points, would the season have gone that way? I mean, who knows? So, yeah, there's more obvious choices, without a doubt, but I just want a moment for that Huddersfield game because it was needed, I think, and very welcome after 13 years away.
Finn?
Yeah, I mean, with the caveat of me, this, well, Sam's talked about before when he went to uni, it being 2 of our poorer years, so he didn't miss out on a lot. So I missed out on quite a lot. So I haven't been to that many games this season, and I'm not going to mention Leicester because that would be the obvious one. There's some good scenes after the game as well. But I'd actually go for being at uni and stuff, and a very outside one, but one that I enjoyed a lot, and I'll explain why in a minute, other than the obvious. But the 2-2 draw away at Cardiff, I enjoyed because
home games, Finn, isn't it?
Oh, home games, is it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, home games. Let me think. My favourite home game would be it would, off the top of my head, it would just have to be Leicester. It would have to be Leicester. And I'm sorry if that's a bit, but it's just, the emotion I felt after that game was like unparalleled. The atmosphere, we've all touched on it, but the atmosphere, I would put it up. I would say that it was possibly better than the Burton game. I can't remember an atmosphere that was as good. Maybe Pompey in the playoffs all those years ago. Not sure, but yeah, just fantastic. And to beat, who would have thought 5 years ago we'd be playing Wilfred Ndidi, Jamie Vardy, Champions League level players, and beating them on our own patch. Not just in a cup game, but like, in a game that actually meant something. 3 points, just fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, sensational.
I guess that leaves me the obvious final candidate, which is Hull, and securing survival on the last day. So I think that maybe the atmosphere wasn't as good as Leicester's, but it was the relief and the joy of not only staying up but winning that game and taking it into our own hands. That was, as beautiful a dawn as Huddersfield was, as was suggested by Adam. The same to finally get over the line and get another chance, another another bite at the cherry next year. That it can be considered the best game just for that, for the securing the second season of Championship football and the windfall that comes with it.
Sorry, have we somehow managed not to nominate Norwich here? The one where we actually scored 6 goals.
Left that for me deliberately. I felt like that was pre-organised and planned. It wasn't. But not that I know of, unless you've got a secret group chat about me. But that wouldn't.
Very little about this podcast is organised.
Exactly. Well, that's true. Okay. Well, I'll nominate the obvious that 6-2 win over Norwich City, in which Morgan Whittaker and Finn Azaz and co shone, and a little bit of drama at the end there with Onel Hernandez and Bally Mumba. Enjoyed thoroughly. I think looking over to see some of my mates in the away end, nearly in tears, the fact they've been turned over by the mighty Plymouth Argyle. I don't think days, especially for me on a personal level, get much better than a 6-2 win over Norwich City. I did say off air that I would mention how these awards work, but basically we're going to nominate one each and then we'll just pick a winner. I don't know if I've said that, but said it again. There you go. What are we going for then? In terms of the public vote, Leicester City won it with 45.3% of the vote. And second was Norwich City with 23.4%. And Hull City came in third with 21.9% of the vote. And that's out of 182 responses. Who wins?
Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester does.
Leicester, yeah.
Who are we to argue with the viewers?
Well, quite. I mean, I'm still going for Norwich. But okay, Leicester City, the 1-0 win over Jamie Vardy's Leicester is the home game of the season. Should we just go straight to away game of the season then? Should we go back the other way?
This might be a bit shorter, I think, this one.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there's only really 3 to pick from, maybe 4. Go on, Ben.
Well, I'll take a leaf out of your book and speak for personal reasons. So the first away game I took my lad to, which was the Leeds Cup game. We got a good result there on the day. It was great to see Callum Roberts get a start and play pretty well. That's the sort of thing that you remember when those sort of guys go on potentially to other things. And also some good banter with the Leeds fans, more of the Chino reprisals to varying varying different ideas. So yeah, I really enjoyed that as a good day out. Great stadium to go and visit, obviously, and to come away with a decent result. Good banter with the away fans, a good away end. Yeah, I think for me that was the best away day. Like you say, those slim pickings.
Go on then, Finn.
Well, I'll go Cardiff then, shall I? Just because I always enjoy Christmas games, but also I felt that day we absolutely battered them, and 3 days after the Birmingham game, and what an important result, that was looking back on it. However, at the time we were a bit like, oh, the manager's left. We've drawn to Wayne Rooney's Birmingham. We need a positive, and we should have won that game clearly. And even the banter moment of Matt Butcher literally passing it in our own goal, which, by the way, like 5 minutes before, speaking to the guy, we went 1-0 up, and speaking to the guy that I sit next to, I have done for about 10 years. I was sat next to him at this game as well, and he went, "Yeah, I think we're gonna do well today," because bearing in mind we hadn't even won away yet, and it was like, we might not even concede, and I'm like. No, I said to him, "No, this team. They'll somehow contrive a way to concede." And we literally passed it in our own goal. We couldn't have done anything more, self-deprecating than that. So, I'd say that I think just the vibes of that game, coming back to get a point. Had Barley Mumba finished that chance, the roof would have come off. But I felt like. That day, I felt like, okay, we didn't know what was going to come next, and we wouldn't have felt that way. But I thought I came away from that game thinking Cardiff have been in the Championship for 5-6 years, and we've absolutely just took it to them and should have won the game. So after that game, I felt, okay, Steven Schumacher, has left us and stuff, but I felt optimistic that we were going to stay in the Championship. And like I said, we did do it, just not in the way that we would have thought at that time.
Go on, Adam. Follow that.
Yeah, another trip to Wales, and perhaps the more obvious one, Swansea City. Not necessarily for performance reasons. We didn't actually have the best of the game by any stretch, although caveat by the fact that we were leading for the vast majority. I think after so many nearly moments, like the Cardiff game that Finn mentions, a few others, how we really ought to have won at Ipswich, but for refereeing, the fact that we'd had a near miss at Southampton with a net again, another decision going against us, and lots of others where it was like, oh, you've played brilliantly and you've not got the result, but you're the best team that I think have come here this season. It started to get a bit galling. So to finally get to February and get the win, with Whittaker scoring against his old club, proving how idiotic they've been to let him go for £1 million. Lots about that day. Great. I think, if you're going to do, as the lads have personal reasons, there was a lovely bar nearby that we found and got to park and got to go back afterwards as well. And they were all fine with us. I think it might have been through gritted teeth because at the same time, Wales were 27-0 down in the rugby, but that's by the by. Anyway, Swansea City, brilliant day. Not the best performance, but fantastic to finally get the result.
I'm going to nominate... Oh, sorry, have I gone too soon?
No, you've actually done a good job. Go on, carry on.
I probably wasted that. Anyway, let's go. I'm going to nominate Middlesbrough away, which was our second away win, of course, of the season, coming only 3 weeks after the first. Again, aspect of personal reasons, a group of me and my close friends had a weekend in Newcastle. So we saw a bit in Newcastle. We saw the Premier League darts on the Thursday night. And a bold man, Michael Van Gerwen, got a rare win in that. And a bold man, Ian Foster, got a very rare win for Argyle on the Saturday. One of his, in fact, his final win, I think. Yeah, it was his final win as our manager. And we were very, very good that day. It helped by Middlesbrough being awful. But it was one of the rare occasions where we pressed and pressed and pressed from the minute one, played attacking football, had chance after chance. We had our 2 goals, but Sorinola could have had another. Hardy could have had another. Randall really should have had one. Devine could have had one. We just absolutely murdered them that day. We were superb. And it's kind of one of those where if only we'd approached every game like that, the Foster tenure could have gone very differently. But it was a great day and a great weekend for me personally.
Are there any away games left, John? Robin's on tour, which you featured on his channel before that mauling at Bristol City, has asked, did we even get 6 away wins this season to have 6?
No, we got 3, but Ben and Finn have both nominated draws is the answer. Robin's on tour. So someone's got to nominate the 3rd away win, really, or it's going to look a bit silly.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that because I was not at Rotherham, and so I feel like I'm going to make Aaron do that so that he can complete the 6 options that way. But I'll nominate a defeat. Why not? Just to add a little bit of variety in there, and that would be Southampton away. And I guess this is kind of a personal reasons one. Not for anything as poignant as taking my non-existent child to their first away game or anything like that, but just I think it summed up for me what being at this league and kind of mixing it at this level was all about. Yeah, the result didn't go away, of course, but we had a fantastic night out afterwards. Aaron screaming, "Do you think you're better off at Stoke?" to the tune of "Do you think you're better off alone?" about a certain Mr. Schumacher on the dance floor. We went to some really great pubs as well. So I think just from that kind of social side of it, which of course is such an important part of going to football generally, especially away, was a particularly kind of elite example just from a personal point of view. But in terms of the game itself, we went to a stadium I haven't been to in a long time against a long-time Premier League, football club, and the atmosphere was great. Home fans gave it some. We gave it some. Obviously, we thought we'd taken the lead. We didn't. There was, the classic kind of up and down that you get in any great game of football. Got a goal to cheer right at the end as well, courtesy of an absolute howler from Gavin Bazunu, which is always a fun thing to see. It just felt to me like we were really back in the big time that day. There's a handful of away games where I've really thought that this season, regardless of how the result went. And I think that Southampton one was probably the kind of platonic example of that. And so I'll nominate it. I'll nominate it in there. I think it would be unrepresentative given our honking away form if this 6 option vote was going to be all, the kind of cherry picked actual results that we got. Because going away, as I said, is about so much more than the result. So I'll say Southampton 2, Plymouth 1.
Yeah, for me, I'm not actually going to nominate Rotherham. Argyle fan has got there before me. I'm going to nominate the 0-0 draw away at Watford. I think that was it. That was a brilliant day. That was one of those where we got there, got in, the game started, and it was like we're back. Like we're back in the Championship. I know you guys had that or most of the people had that for Huddersfield at home, but that was my we are back moment and taking them. We thought they were going to be, a very strong side this season and push for playoffs minimum and to get a 0-0 draw in which Lewis Gibson got Joe's accolade of the greatest centre-back he's ever seen play for Plymouth Argyle. I mean, that does mean that we haven't nominated the win against Rotherham, but everybody beat Rotherham, so I'm not really sure that counts anyway.
Apart from Birmingham City.
Hopefully Birmingham didn't.
There it is. So I'm not, that wouldn't actually get my vote. But yeah, what are we going for here? Oh, the public vote. Yeah, I forgot that's a thing. The public vote. The winner was Middlesbrough away with 42% of the vote. Second was Swansea with 32.8% of the vote, and in third was Leeds. Was Rotherham away with 7.8%.
My vote would actually go with Ben for Leeds in the cup. Personally,
Sam.
Well, mine's going to go with Adam for Swansea.
Well, Adam's already picked Swansea. Finn.
Yes,
I'll go Swansea as well. So go on, Finn.
Yes, Swansea, just the first one. It was such a relief of getting that first one. And Morgan Whittaker doing it against his former club. It was like because their fans has kind of been like £1 million. How we let him go to them for that cheap, and then he just come back and scored against them. It was quite fun, yeah.
Nice. Okay, Swansea away as our winner, and unlike like Ben said in the last round, who are we to go against the public vote? And we've done exactly that. I don't know what's next. I've forgotten my notes back. Best moment of the season. I mean, I pre-sent you these, so you should already have it. Let's start with Sam and go clockwise. John, you can go last.
I'm going to say that is how clockwise works, Aaron. Thank you. I'm going to say the final whistle of the final game, not because I was so keen for the season to be over, but just that jubilation that we'd got there. We'd got it done. It was a really tough season in some ways. A lot of getting used to change. I don't think any of us wanted, or expected really Schumacher to leave the way he did. And it sort of soured, I think, the season before a bit in the eyes of many. I still look back at it fondly, but I get why people maybe are a little bit reticent to. the ups and downs, the disastrous Ian Foster tenure, the great revival under Dewship and Nanscombe, and just when it looked like we were safe, we had those 2 awful away defeats. And then it was, it was up and down, and we just ended up on the right side of the line. That last 20 minutes against Hull was not enjoyable. It was very, very nervous indeed. And just when the ball comes down, there's a bit of a scrap for a free kick, possibly, and we're not sure if he's blowing for a free kick, but no, he's blowing the full-time whistle. And incredible moment, and it was a fantastic night in the Barbican after full-time at home to Hull. Leicester, I think, was a better home game overall, but in terms of a purely a moment, it was the full-time at home to Hull.
So a referee blowing a whistle. Adam?
Yeah, I mean, as much as, again, like Sam, I'm choosing something from what I didn't consider my best home game, but it's the moment that Adam Randall's goal went in against Stoke. It was, I think Sam's kind of described it quite nicely, in the sense that it's building up and all that, and the second half, and just getting and not quite knocking the door down, thinking you're going to run out of time. And then on his 100th appearance, the local guy scores a winning goal, his first ever goal at home. I mean, yeah, wonderful. And the celebration, actually, a few of the people I would usually go to Argyle with weren't there that day, and they seriously missed out. But it did mean that I had the opportunity to just hug a few strangers around me as it went in, which I think is a bonus, and I think that just about made it unbeatable.
Come on, Finn. Everybody else knows how clockwise.
Yeah. Ian Foster getting sacked. I mean, that was just a good moment, right? Because we were definitely going down with him in charge, and we gave ourselves a bit of hope, and that's what we needed, and that's ultimately hope is what got us over the line, I think, in the end. Because everyone kind of pulled together. The mood, particularly after the Sheffield Wednesday away game, and then somehow he got 2 games after that as well, but. It's just so sour. It was just like, how in 3 months have we literally gone from having one of the best managers in the league, maybe in some people's mind in terms of the job that he has to do the best, to the actual worst. So I've got to say that. Sorry, Ian Foster. Actually, not sorry, Ian Foster. But yes.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I haven't taken a leaf out of your book. I'm going to take a leaf out of John's book and be a bit meta, stealing all the pages tonight. But the Leicester celebrations were just, it was something else. There was, I think I mentioned it on the review pod. There were young lads sort of saying, "God, I can't remember an atmosphere like it, a game like it." It was sort of one of their sort of the seminal moments in their following Argyle. It will be one of the things they compare things to, like QPR was. Sort of has been, and then the Portsmouth game, one of those sort of matches. Just the joy afterwards, and also the fact that we could still have gone down. We weren't safe or anything, and a few people sort of pointed that out. Well, we shouldn't have been celebrating because it doesn't necessarily mean anything yet. But that again, I think, as I said on the review, that's what football is. You live in those moments, don't you? And we could have gone down, but we'd never be able to have had that night taken away. And again, against the eventual champions, backs to the wall for, was it 60, 70 minutes? It was the joy rising to a crescendo, sort of like what was nerves turned into hope, turned into expectation almost. So yeah, kind of like the mood after, not just the celebrations, but kind of the mood as, but people went away from the ground, went to tavernas and wherever else, just that sort of sense of euphoria that comes in the moment that you can't really ever legislate or script. That's the best thing about football for me, I think, is that complete and utter escapism. I think that football players say, don't they? When you score a goal, you go out of your head for a brief while. It's just ecstasy. I think that's the fan equivalent, is that sort of completely unexpected, but not just in terms of result, but in terms of performance, the togetherness of the crowd, all of that. It just creates a moment that you can't really put into words and describe. And that's the quality of football that I think transcends all other sports, really, all other spectator sports, and makes it the beautiful game.
Go on, John. I'll let you jump in front of me whilst I actually think of my own answer.
I'm going to go again. just for the sake of making this interesting and discussing something that hasn't already been discussed, because there are so many that I could kind of pull out, including some that have already been mentioned. I'm going to say when we signed Ballymumba on a permanent basis in the summer, technically before the start of the season, so feel free to throw this out on a technicality. I just think for me it was an unexpected kind of boost, right? And it's sort of I just personally found last summer so much fun, knowing that we were going into a higher league, kind of basking in the sort of long honeymoon of the Port Vale game and promotion. If I could just kind of capture the feeling of last summer just generally and bottle it, that kind of mix of ecstasy and nerves and anticipation and everything, all of that kind of cocktail of emotions again, and bottle it up. I'd love to kind of just recreate that sense. And I think Mumba's signing was probably the moment that it hit the highest point for me. I think I walked home from Sainsbury's after the signing had been announced on the club Twitter, playing Tequila on repeat on Spotify, and sort of doing the chant in my head. I think it just kind of encapsulated the great vibes that were around the club. I think it meant a lot from the point of view of a player of that quality. And I think obviously Whittaker's signing in hindsight looks better, but I think Mumba at the time was really one of the kind of young hype players in the entire league, whereas Whittaker was someone who at that point, again, looked like a great acquisition, but had just sat on the bench effectively for Swansea for 6 months or not done a lot for them. Mumba was expected to go back to Norwich, expected to go back into their team. If he was going to leave, it was seemingly going to be to a club who, would pay more than we did. So it felt like a fantastic piece of business. And it just felt like we went from being the bridesmaids to the bride a little bit. A player of that, with kind of the world at his feet, chose to come back to Home Park. So for me, I think it's a moment that represents a lot of different things. That was also a sort of like very, enjoyable moment in and of itself, even though it didn't happen on a football pitch. And for that reason, I'll nominate Mumba's re-signing.
Well, I mean, you stole mine. I was going to say Whittaker's re-signing, but I feel like you can't really give that after you've just said Bally's.
How about Adam Eder scoring a penalty for you?
Yeah, great. Morgan Whittaker's hat-trick against Norwich. Does that count as a moment? His third goal?
3 moments, isn't it?
His third goal was 1 moment.
True.
Yeah. I don't have anything to add, so no nomination from me. So we've got Full-Time versus Hull, Randall versus Stoke, Foster being sacked, the Leicester celebration, and Ballymumba re-signing. Oh, go on, I'll go Whittaker re-signing then, just to add in another one. What are we going for there? Oh, what? There was a public? No, there was no public vote. Forgot to add that one.
I'll stick with my answer. Full-time.
I'll join Sam in voting for the whole Full-Time.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Hull, the full-time whistle, the referee putting the whistle in his lips is Plymouth Argyle's best moment of the season. I think we might need to speed this up a little bit. Banter moment. Anybody got any nominations they'd like to add for banter moment of the season?
Ian Foster getting hired.
I'm gonna go. It's a bit of a weird one, but Matty Sorinola, the first game after he signed, hadn't even come off the bench in this game. We won 3-1 at home to Cardiff. He takes it upon himself to do a full lap of the ground, jumping up and down, dancing, clapping all the fans. For some reason, I don't know why. And and that was it. But it, in itself doesn't sound that funny. Maybe you had to be there, but for him to do that in his first game at the club, having not even played, was just such an utterly extraordinary moment. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. So I'm going to go for Sorinola's lap of honour after a game he didn't play in.
I'm gonna jump in front of some of you. I'm gonna go for Mikel Miller's catch against Middlesbrough. No idea what he was doing there. I think somebody else has just said that, actually. There you go. Don't really know what's gone through his head. Should have just let the ball go out of play. Just did a me at 5-a-side. Just can't be bothered to run for the ball. So
anybody who don't want picking up a stupid yellow is Mikel Miller as well, wasn't it? It was sort of like Anybody else, he just shrugged off. But I think everyone thought, oh, he's going to go and slide tackle someone with both feet in a minute and get the second.
Anybody else got anything to add?
I think Lino Sousa's signing video has got to get a mention, whether it's the winner or not. But
that is a great shout.
That was a moment.
I'll nominate Matt Butcher. Matt Butcher.
What, the own goal?
Can I put forward the something that I think will please just one person in the comments, but the moment the lineup dropped at Bristol City away, and we realised that everybody had been left at home with predictable results.
Yeah, there's some in the comments. The YouTube comment section in general that has been outstanding banter all season. And Kenny likes to add Cooper signalling the keep Foster out chance going with his little rotation of the hands, like he's a mini version of the Queen. Go on, Finn.
Can I just nominate?
How big is the Queen?
I was going to say, I think Cooper's definitely bigger than the Queen, Aaron.
Go on, Finn.
If I wasn't going to say Matt Butcher's own goal, I would have said, in hindsight, Alfie Devine's red card against Bristol City. That was just an absolute checking out of the finest order. It's like, get this, like, even though he's the guy that's signed, get this guy gone. I don't want to be on the pitch anymore. We're finished. Let's go. Like, that was okay. Like, one of the guys that he signed has just done that. Yeah, that's just banter. There's no way ever of putting that. Like, I wasn't very happy with it at the time, but looking back, that's complete banter.
Yeah, there's another one. Obviously, Chinos that leads away. I think that's got to be mentioned. I love how we've had more banter moments than we've had like actual good moments, which is absolutely fantastic. I don't know.
The other one that was in my mind was the players at the darts all in fancy dress as they were being told the devastating news of Schumacher going.
Yeah. No, I think that's tipped it for me. Actually,
It
I think
wouldn't be Plymouth Argyle if it didn't have more banter moments than actual good ones.
One thing we are looking to do over the summer break is reconvene and do our all-time Argyle banter 11, which I think will go quite well. We'll have to do that at some point. I don't really know what wins there. It's either the darts or Matty Sorinola for me, but yeah.
Sorry, run me by what everyone said again. Are we having a Ben, what did you say, Ben? You said something that I nodded to, but I forgot what it was.
Lino Sousa's video.
Oh yeah, it's that. It's that. It is that, I think.
Mr. Memory needs reminding.
I know.
Okay, John, what were you going for?
In the name of, I can't remember the entire list of things, to be honest. So just in the name of ease, I will also say Sousa's signing video, which had the added benefit, aside from being hilarious in and of itself, of like presaging someone who, with the greatest respect, could possibly feature in a future Argyle Banter 11, or certainly a Who Remembers 11. So, yeah, I will agree. I'll jump on the Sousa bandwagon.
It also elicited a fantastic response from one Mr. Sam Down on a live stream. I remember when he got to see it for the first time for the viewers.
That is absolutely sensational. I think we might have to do a Twitter poll like that one as well, because there's just so many. I assume, Adam, unless you're going for.
Well, yeah, I'll lend my vote to it for ease, but to be honest, as soon as it was mentioned, I struggled to look past Mikael Miller catching the ball. That's just resonated with me. But yeah, again, for ease, let's give it to Sousa.
Yeah, a special mention for Michael Cooper and Dan Scarr's reactions when Kevin Nanskaville mentions Ian Foster in that final day team talk after we've yeah, I think a few people have mentioned that in the comments. All right, Finn, unless you're going for Mikael Miller. Lino Sousa.
Yeah. I'll go with Lino Sousa. I mean, Mikael Miller catching the ball is probably the kind of perfect way to sum up Mikael Miller really this season. Don't know if you're getting a good 20 minutes out of him. Don't know if you're getting a mad 20 minutes out of him, or don't know if you're getting a bad 20 minutes out of him. So, yeah, but I'll go Lino Sousa to make it sort of roundhouse.
Okay, nice. Congratulations.
Who is the best at catching the ball out of Mikael Miller, Michael Cooper, or the Queen, and why?
Lovely. Okay, we'll go. Congratulations to both Lino Sousa and Charlie Price for picking up the signing video as the banter moment of the season. We move on to a best chant before we get on to some actual like proper awards that actually might be in an actual award ceremony. The best ones that were given in the poll obviously were Bundu, Sam Down's favourite Party with Divine. We Want Foster Out was nominated quite a lot. Big fan of that. There was a few Fozzies at the wheel. What else is here? Green and White Barmy Army. Chino's Away at Leeds. That's about it. That they were mainly the four. A few derogatory comments about. I've not seen those last two against Stephen Schumacher.
I'll be nice and quick. I'll go first. I don't necessarily think it's the best chant, but finally getting a consistent Morgan Whittaker chant going from the last couple of games of the season was something. It should have come a lot earlier, but finally settling on Morgan Whittaker. He is magical. It's just a shame it took so long, but because he deserves one so much, that's going to get my vote.
Okay, we'll go anti-clockwise. Go on, Finn.
I'll let John do the rendition, but Sam's favourite just come to light in the last couple of weeks. Has spurred us on to survival. So thank you for that, Sam.
Yeah, it's definitely Sam's chant that did that. Adam?
Generally speaking, I'm going to go for Sam's favourite as well. Although it hasn't been mentioned yet, so I just want to drop a line to, I'm not going to sing the whole thing. Something about a guy that comes from Spain, wears green and white, hates City, thinks they're, I know, something or other. So yeah, just Pleggy's one in there for a bit of representation, I think. But yeah, I'm still giving my vote to Sam's favourite, which we will soon be hearing.
Yeah, I think if it wins, we need a rendition from Sam. Go on, Sam.
No chance. I'm going to go for We've Got Sorinola, just because when we were on the Barbican and we were singing that, he was dancing on the tables to the tune of his own song, and that was just an incredible moment for Matty Sorinola. Also, I love how Argyle fans just don't have any idea that how it ends. They just sing the We've Got Sorinola on repeat, and it's meant to go into the number 29, but nobody knows that bit. And I hopefully by me having this little rant, people will start singing the number 29 bit next season, but maybe that's a full-on hope.
If you think anybody takes any notice of what we say on this pod, you are mistaken, John.
I think the clear winner has to be My Girl Wants to Party with Divine. Really for originality's sake, actually. Because I, to have a little grumble thrown in here, think that we are quite bad as a fan base at making up original chants, and all the ones that are actually good are often stolen from elsewhere, which is fine, but it'd be nice to have some original ones. I will nominate, for the sake of completeness, the late season Mustafa Bundu Voulez-vous chant, even though that has also been stolen off. I don't know who the first club to do that. I've heard Arsenal doing it, I've heard Leicester doing it. I'm not sure what the origin of that one was. Definitely not us. But number one, it's ABBA, which is, you can't go wrong. And number two, hearing that sung in the sort of bowels, to use a very disrespectful term to describe the mustaya of the potteries of the Bet365 stadium, but hearing it sort of sung in there, as we walked in, or in Aaron's case stayed outside, and then hearing it on the train to Millwall away, with people kind of slapping the roof of the train as we made our way from London Bridge to Bermondsey. Those were just two really good kind of vibes moments, even though the results didn't go away ultimately in either of those games. So I'll nominate the Bundu chant.
Yeah, I mean, John, if you want original chants, just look at my notes app, my friends. There are plenty in there. Can
we have a rendition of Lewis Gibson is the best around, please?
Absolutely not. On a free Lewis Gibson needs to get going as well. I, off the top of my head, favourite chant, big fan of We Want Foster Out, even making the top four in the poll. That's absolutely fantastic. Ian Foster, your football is not very good. is another one. They got often got an airing. I can't think. I think I'd have to go with Party with Divine just to see the state that somebody on this call was in at a well-known holiday resort on the south coast, belting that in my ear on a dance floor whilst we're watching McBusted. Phenomenal evening. I think I'd go with that.
Watching the fake McBusted, which Aaron thought was the real McBusted, and the stayed to watch.
I rearranged my.
At risk of derailing this, what is the fake McBusted?
It's just a tribute band called MacBusted.
There's a tribute.
Really? Yeah.
They were all right, apart from playing Mr. Brightside halfway through the set. I think we're going a bit off topic here.
So chant of the season, Mr. Brightside.
As much as I love the very brief social media notoriety I gained from drunkenly shouting "My girl wants to party with Divine," I feel it would be a bit self-indulgent of us to nominate a song that has never actually taken off in the ground. So my actual vote is going to go for the Bundu one.
That's your fault. If you don't want to start it in the ground, that's down to you.
A couple of lads tried to in the whole game, but maybe next year, but it's not yet taken off. So I'm going to go for the Bundu one. I'm going to agree with John and go for the Bundu one in all seriousness.
Agreed. Okay, well the public vote Bundu one as well. So. Sorry, John.
My vote is still for Divine, but
we might have a contest here then.
I did say a while back.
Let's have a sing-off.
I did say a while back I did enjoy the Plague's Raylo one because I felt that was not original, but it was a bit more, shall we say, convoluted than the average chant that we come up with.
Mustafa Bundu running down the wing. Bundu makes
actually
the
bonus
staying in the lead.
Suggestion: we've got Hardy, Sandra Hardy. That was good.
We've got Hardy, Sandra Hardy. Just don't think you understand. She's Ryan Hardy's man. We're glad that she's a fan. We've got Sandra Hardy. There you go.
Outstanding. Second rendition of the season, done and dusted. And there you go.
So is that Bundu then, yeah?
Yeah, whatever.
Fine.
Yeah, fine.
Aaron, you have the casting vote, I think. Go for it.
Do I?
No, I'm making it up. Just
okay.
Get a decision that way.
All right, Bundu, running down the wing. I would give it to Chinos personally, but sure, fine. Best chant of the season goes to Mustafa Bundu's rendition of Voulez-Vous. Right, goal of the season, on to some proper actual football chat. Adam, why don't you start and we'll go anti-clockwise.
Go on then. Tinged with sadness, considering it was one of the final moments we ever saw from him in an Argyle shirt, but it's Finazaz, Watford home. The technique on that volley from the corner, absolutely glorious. I don't want to underplay my role. I don't think I need to say much more on that. We've all appreciated that one, and it's a shame we didn't see him score anymore. But I think the nice thing is there's plenty of options which we're going to explore. But for me, I don't think anything's beating that strike from Azaz.
Azaz. It's got to be just a phenomenal, like maybe one of the best goals I've seen at home park. And I think, if we won that game, then I think it would have been remembered even more.
Sorry, Finn. I'm a massive fan of Sam telling me earlier he knows how clockwise works, and when I said anti-clockwise, he didn't talk. Big fan of that. Go on, Ben. Carry on, round.
Sorry,
he's lost his chance.
Anti-clockwise.
Yeah, he's lost his chance.
My favourite goals.
Sam's at his anti-clockwise's funeral, I think.
I'm a big fan of team goals, and we didn't really score too many of those. I think maybe we had a few nice little moves, little combinations, but not real team goals. So just to throw one in that's not going to be the obvious Azaz that's probably going to win, I like a good howitzer too. So Whittaker's goal against Sunderland for about 650 yards out on the right-hand side, right in the top corner. You don't score many of those, and you don't save many of those either. So that'd be I imagine it's going to come second, but it probably deserves a mention.
Yeah. Personally, I'm going to go for not for any real technique. I'm just going to go for Adam Randall, little fanboy that I am, against Stoke. Absolutely smashes the something out of it into the back of the net. Scores. I mean, Sam's already spoken about it. Scores on his 100th appearance. He finally gets his first home park goal. Scenes in the away end. Home end. If there were scenes in the away end, I'd be very shocked. Yeah, I'll nominate that one just purely because I love Adam Randall. Go on, John.
I was a big fan of Whittaker's goal at home to Ipswich, which was one that Aaron included in the poll.
Don't blame me. Plagiarised the club's official goal of the season contest in which they said Whittaker scored at home. Go on. Carry on, John.
I have two. I think I'm going to force Sam to nominate Mumba against Huddersfield because that obviously has to be in there. But I am going to nominate, just to make it a little goal of the season contest with himself, Finn Azaz against Norwich, which I think is a sort of underratedly absolutely class goal. Just a brilliant kind of attacking passage of play, dazzling footwork from Azaz, and just a really kind of cheeky, cool finish. Gunn should probably have done better with it, but it was a mesmerising goal, kind of capping off a mesmerising few minutes that capped off a mesmerising half of football. So I'll nominate that one.
I am going to go, for Ballymumba against Huddersfield, of course. Honourable mention to the Bundu free kick against Sheffield Wednesday. Honourable mention to basically, I'll be honest with you, I wanted to nominate like one of the Whittaker home goals. Like all of those Whittaker home goals from the first half of the season just mesh into one at this stage. He's had so many goals where he's just sort of cut inside about 20, 25 yards and blasted it into the corner. And I struggle to recall reliably on memory to remember the finer details of which of those Whittaker goals is which, because there were just so many and they were so similar, a lot of them, that they mesh into one. So honourable mention to basically all of those. But yeah, it's Mumba against Huddersfield is my nomination. He picks up the ball so deep. Go on, Finn.
Someone put, which was a good shout, and it's forgotten because I'm not going to say what was said in our chat at halftime at that game because that would reflect very poorly on how it went afterwards. But Hardy's against Sunderland where he lobs the keeper from about.
Yeah, very, very good goal. I believe the word 6 points off the playoffs might have been mentioned in our group chat in that game, which is remarkable. I like the mention from George in the comments about the Birmingham fan who pitch invaded, scoring a screamer from 40 yards after they were relegated. Definitely would be, but it's an Argyle goal of season. So anyway, I might finally get to describe the Ballymumba against Huddersfield goal in a minute, which was, he picked it up incredibly deep, ran past about 2 or 3 defenders, cuts inside, and you're thinking, surely he's going to run into trouble. Surely he can't keep going. He can't keep going. He has. Strikes it into the corner, puts us 2-1 in front, home park in raptures. For all the reasons that whoever nominated Huddersfield home, Adam, I think, was a great day. Whittaker and Mumba both getting off the mark in their first appearance was so great in particular. It really lightened the pressure on both of them. So, I'm going to go for that one. Good comment from Alfie here saying, forgetting the result, Randall's goal against City was pretty good. It was very good. Yeah, just a shame it came in that game. It was a very good goal.
Yeah, on the public vote, it was quite split apart from for one. Azaz versus Middlesbrough, Cumnor against Crystal Palace, Hardy against Sunderland away, Mumba against Huddersfield at home, Randall against Bristol City away, Whittaker against Ipswich away, Whittaker against Sunderland at home, Edwards against Hull at home, Bundu against Sheffield Wednesday, quite a few of those, but the standout winner with 50.8% was Azaz versus Watford at home, and I personally can't go against that. I'm sure that was.
Yeah, it's definitely that one. It's definitely that one.
Definitely.
Any objections?
That's probably one of the best goals ever scored at home park, certainly by an Argyle player. So it has to be that one.
Brilliant. Next up is signing of the season, but that's absolutely pointless because it just bundle that into player of the season. So unless anybody's got any other answer to Morgan Whittaker, then.
But we didn't sign Ben Wayne this season, so
Lewis Warrington, honourable mention.
That was in
to be
banter.
fair, it's obvious. It should be obvious, I'd think, who's going to win both of those awards. But getting Lewis Gibson on a free should be just be noted that's an absolutely ridiculous on a free Lewis Gibson indeed. That was a ridiculous bit of business. And even if he goes for less than his value this summer, he's done a fantastic job this season. I mean, I can't think of many goals that came down that side. He's been, and because we've conceded so many, I feel like it kind of goes unnoticed, the amount of good work he's put in. I remember the Saints game at home, which was the second game of the season? Third game of the season, wasn't it? In the last sort of minutes of extra time, he was down the left, put an absolutely brilliant ball into the box, which no one could quite get onto, and just sort of thinking, wow, he can do absolutely everything. And I think he kind of has, to a large extent, all season, been here, there, and everywhere, doing bits and pieces that aren't really his job at times, and done. I don't think we'd be in the league still. So that on a free, I know it's not. He's not been the best signing, but in terms of value, I think he's right up there.
Brilliant. I think Sam's lining up. We mentioned it before. There is a special guest coming on. It was supposed to come on previously. Sam's actually finally managed to line him up. He will be on soon, I believe. Sam's going to give him a brief warning. So if he dips out, you know where he's gone.
I'm just taking my. Can you hear me? Okay.
We can never really hear you, okay, to be honest, mate. But I'll just get. Oh, yeah, that's it. Just mute yourself, off you pop. Let's moving on to Manager of the Season. I suppose a bit of a banter award, but mainly because he wasn't nominated in the Unsung Hero Award, and you can't really be unsung if everybody is quite literally singing your name. Manager of the Season, John. Have you got anybody you'd like to nominate?
Well, look, there's one manager who we had over the course of the season who scored 66% of our away successes over the course of the campaign under his watch. He also oversaw one of the best individual performances of the season, which was Ryan Hardy against Cardiff. A performance so good that there was no regard for fitness, sustainability built into it. A manager who was not afraid to sign players that he'd worked with before and play them utterly out of the positions that they were comfortable in. That is the kind of level of tactical innovation that gets you nominated for an award like this. A manager who, in difficult times really brought the entire fan base together. I think it's fair to say, and had the entire fan base singing his name. It has to be Ian Foster. He is Ian. You have to say that Ian Foster is one of the 4 people eligible for this award. I don't think.
And you have to say what a job he did, by the way.
Adam, any advance on Ian Foster?
Well, I mean, John's mentioned there's 4 men eligible for this award. I think actually there's a management job that has been carried out that has actually contributed to Argyle staying in the league, possibly further than any other. And I think huge credit has to go to him for ensuring that we managed to keep our noses just over there and keep ourselves, head over water and all that. So I think I really want us to consider Wayne Rooney.
Oh, are you ready, Sam?
Oh,
there he is.
Shadowed.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Tatsu. You good?
Good, thank you.
Good. How's your trip to Plymouth been this time round? Good time?
Yeah, good time, great time. Yes.
I think everybody wants to know where did you find your favourite pasty? Which company?
My favorites. Malcolm Barnett.
Malcolm Barnecots. Yeah.
Yeah, Barnecots. Yeah.
Absolutely correct answer.
Yeah.
Correct answer. You've passed any possible citizenship test for entry to Plymouth. You've absolutely nailed that. You could not have gone any better. I didn't really prep for this, so if anybody has anything they want to ask Tatsu, they can.
Yeah.
How many pasties are you going to eat before you go back?
Oh,
Any
70?
more pasties?
70.
70 pasties.
70 pasties.
I don't understand how you can eat 70 pasties and not look like me in that period of time. You must do a lot of walking or something to burn off 70 pasties.
Walking,
Yeah.
Oh, that's class. That's absolutely phenomenal. Are you leave on Monday, right? You leave tomorrow.
Monday, yeah. Tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, God. Have you got some pasties to take with you to take home?
Anyway, yeah.
Whilst we've got you on an awards pod, you have to ask who's been your player of the season?
Player of the season. Oh, Lewis Gibson.
Lewis Gibson, good shout. Good call.
Yeah.
Favorite
Lewis
game?
Gibson.
Best game?
Favorite game? My favorite game, home game, Sheffield Wednesday, 3-0.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good shout.
Bundu free kick. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that your favorite goal?
Favorite goal? Yeah.
Favorite goal, the Bundu free kick.
Yes.
Absolutely, that's class. Yeah. Nice.
I think we should introduce a fan of the season award at this point and hand it to Tatsu for his Plymouth tour. It brings so much joy to the rest of the fan base. We love having you around. That sounds a bit sycophantic, but it's great having someone enjoy what we enjoy locally. You know, Plymouth's a small team in quite a big pond in English football. So having someone who just finds as much joy as the locals, whereas we're used to people looking down at us taking the mick. It's great having you as part of the part of the club, part of the Green Army. So have a safe trip home.
Oh, thank you so much.
What do you think about Sam's furniture?
Sam Barish.
Sam's furniture. Should he get a chair?
Does he have a chair? Does he have a chair in his bedroom? Is there a chair in that room?
Yeah.
There is a chair in that room.
We're breaking news tonight.
Wow.
You hold the front page.
And just to check, you are allowed to leave, right?
Yeah.
You're not being held there. You are just staying there, right? You are allowed to leave tomorrow.
Blink twice if you need help.
Oh, nice. Cheers for jumping on. Appreciate that. And like I said, a safe flight back tomorrow. What time do you leave?
What time? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't.
Yeah.
Not bothered.
No plan. Yeah.
Whenever the plane goes, it won't go without you. I'm pretty sure. I know, but I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's got anything else they want to ask Tats whilst he's here.
Oh.
No.
So, I'm pleasure to be here, Primus. So, I love Argyle. I love Green Army. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you come back next season?
Whoa. Maybe. My job landscaping, so August, September, October, November, December, very hard. Maybe March, April, yeah, same, maybe, yeah.
Well, same time.
We hope to see you. We hope to see you again next season. That'd be good.
Basically, what we have to do is like this year, when it looks like we're about to go down, we'll pull you back over, and as you did last season, good luck charm, and we get what we need whilst you're here.
We'll send up the chat signal.
Yeah. Obviously, if we do get Steve Cooper or whoever we're linked to, and we are on the verge of the Premier League, we will need you back to get us through to get us into second into the Premier League next season. But thanks for joining us tonight. I think we'll swap you back out for Sam, and like I said, safe journey tomorrow. Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you.
And yeah, up the greens. See you later, mate.
Up the green. See you later.
See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
For any audio listener that is confused what's happened there, Tatsuki is staying with Sam Down but he's been very busy on the tourism board of Devon, Plymouth and Devon, enjoying the delights of the Barbican, etc. So he's been quite busy, and Sam's managed to pin him down tonight as a special guest.
And can I say what a pleasure it's been to have him staying with us, with my my housemate Jules and myself. Have absolutely loved having him. He's been the perfect guest, and well, what a fantastic good luck charm he's been. Last season he got us over the line to promotion. This season he got us over the line to staying in the league. Maybe next season into the playoffs. Who knows?
Absolutely phenomenal. Shall we move on then? Let's do. We're talking of. Oh no, hang on. Did we finish our managerial chat?
Adam was making a very compelling case for Wayne Rooney being our manager of the season, and I, for one, would like to hear him out.
Sorry, Adam. Sorry to interrupt you there. I mean, you are on mute, so I'm going to take you off mute.
Yeah, there we go. That'll be helpful. I'd practically done my spiel on Rooney. He narrowly edged out Darren Moore for me.
Sensational. Finn?
Liam Richardson for giving us 2 free wins, maybe.
Okay. All right.
I do think like the narrative would be very different if we hadn't won the final game, and that has to be acknowledged. But I think Neil Dewsnip has probably worked like 70-hour weeks since sort of the middle of December until the end of the season, and he's probably still doing it now, trying to collate the managerial CVs, etc., that have been coming in and all of that jazz, and working with the recruitment team. Now he still had to organise the Foster search, well, not purely down to himself, but he's integral to that. He was also integral to the recruitment and trying to keep the team together, putting in place Nance and who could be pulled from where in the other coaching teams to support. Still was helping Foster when Foster was here, as well as doing all his administrative and other duties. So I think he deserves a shout. I know we can pin some of the blame for the appointment of Ian Foster on him. Certainly his close connections to Ian Foster and prior knowledge, relationship with him doesn't look good, however much of an influence that did or didn't have. But he must have really, he's probably due a holiday soon or a burnout, because I can only imagine how much effort he's put into wearing several different hats. And ultimately, like I say, although some of the tactics like Millwall away didn't come off, I think tactically on the last day against Hull, there was a bit of a masterclass in the way we allowed Hull to keep playing sideways and backwards, and allow them to sort of possession themselves into nullifying themselves. So I think he's got a good points return from the interim periods he's coached with Nance, and does so much else at the club. So to sort of get all of that done and help get the club over the line, I think he's still massively in credit from his time here, no matter what mistakes might have been made along the way. So he does get my shout on a more serious note.
I'm going to just quickly, purely on points per game as a metric, because obviously we say, 4 managers, ultimately Nance and Dewsnip come as a pair, so it's only really been 3 managers, but one of those 3 has had 2 spells. So points per game across the 2 spells, Dewsnip and Nance Scoville have actually been the best of the 3 to manage us this season. And you can't take that away. I am going to nominate Stephen Schumacher because I feel despite all the manner in which he left us, we have to say that he laid the foundations for us to get over the line. If we hadn't have had such a capable first half of the season, then we wouldn't have been in a position to have such leeway that the Foster era never put us into the relegation zone. And we have to give credit to him for that. We had some magnificent home wins, not so good away, granted. We had some magnificent home wins in that half season under Schumacher and some very creditable away draws. And like I said in the post-Stoke pod, whilst I get why the fans were calling him I personally it didn't sit right with me, just based on the grounds that I feel there does come a time, and maybe it's further into the future, where we will look back at what he did last season, and that will be the presiding memory. Beg your pardon.
It's not what he did last season; it's what he did the season before to get us into the championship that week.
Aaron, I
Yeah,
moved.
sorry, I'm saying
the
last
record.
season. We're still in this season, though. Is what I'm saying,
Right.
Finn.
Yeah.
I moved to have all
and
that struck from the record. Do I have a second?
Look, I still think there will be a time where we look back at what he did, and despite the manner in which he left, and which doesn't sit right with a lot of people, as being someone who did a very good job for us and gave us our best season ever. Now, I know that that's obviously last season, not this season, as Finn sort of alluded to, but I still think ultimately he was having us massively punching above our weight this season, or else he wouldn't have ever been offered that job at Stoke, which obviously much of we wish he didn't take. It shows he was doing a good job to get offered it. So I'm going to be very unpopular and nominate Schumacher for our manager of the season.
Right. Okay. Absolutely baffling. I'm pretty sure if I remember rightly. So we've got Ian Foster, Stephen Schumacher, going clockwise here, Sam, because you know how clockwise works. Wayne Rooney. Can't remember who Finn said.
Liam Richardson, I said.
Liam Richardson. Can't remember who Ben said. Neil Dewsnip. So I'm going to obviously nominate Mr. Argyle, Kevin Nanscoville. Just you could see in that speech, post Hull, just how much this club means to him. Obviously didn't happen this season, but he obviously, navigated us through that Scunthorpe game as well. Bleeds green and white. Absolutely loves the club. The club love him. The fans love him. Kevin Nanscoville for as my manager of the season, or caretaker head coach of the season, joint caretaker head coach manager of the season, whatever. Him, Kevin Nanscoville, Mr. Argyle.
When Sam nominates Schumacher, you do say no. Because I think the answer is very clearly Neil Dewsnip. I would like to just second Ben's Dewsnip motion. I agree with all the things he said. I would also like to point to Sam's, note that he actually had the best points per game record as well, alongside Nanscoville. I also think that it's kind of remarkable that even though they were in charge collectively, and I would also like to move that we combine Dewsnip and Nanscoville into one award also. But it's kind of remarkable that even though they were in charge for so few games in the grand scheme of things, so many of the memories that we have been mentioning on this podcast came under them. Not just the Hull and Leicester games, but also the Cardiff game and the Azaz goal against Watford, which, obviously is a goal that could happen under any manager in theory. But those were two brilliant attacking games. It probably more so in terms of excitement and fluidity than anything we saw in the Schumacher era this season. So, or at least on a par with it. So I think it's actually quite a nice rounded suggestion that it should be those two. So I would like to second Ben's nomination and combine.
Yeah, I felt Schumacher deserved enough credit to be on the list, but I do agree it's Dewsnip and Nanscoville. Look, I've said my piece that I think Dewsnip's made mistakes as the director of football. But as his caretaker manager spell, yeah, he saved us. He got the job done. Yeah, I'll second that, and I'll go Dewsnip and Nanscoville for manager of the season.
I agree. Dewsnip actually came second in the poll, behind obviously Kevin Nanscoville. Schumacher came third. Ian Foster came fourth. I'm sure that's no surprise.
What percentage of the vote did Ian Foster get?
Ian Foster actually got 10.1%. So 18.
And some of those
18.
won't be ironic as well. That's the sad thing. Some of those will be from people who thought he was hardly done.
But as we know, there are actually some people on social media who were pretty even not joking, literally up until he was sacked, were saying we got to give this man time. So there are people that genuinely think that.
Yeah, I think we've been over manager enough. So I think we can agree. The combined winners are Kevin Nanscoville and Neil Dewsnip. Forgot his name. That's good. Loney of the season. Finn, why don't you start us? And we will go anti-clockwise.
I mean, it's not really a tough... there's not... Our loanees haven't really done that. From last season, our loanees were essentially our best players. This season, they've been okay, but there's not that many to pick from. I'm gonna have to go Ashley Phillips, probably, because unless I'm forgetting somebody.
I think you are.
Lewis Warrington.
Might be
Oh,
forgetting
yeah,
someone
sorry, Lewis
who
Warrington.
shares first name.
Sorry, yes. Sorry, no. Premier League player, Lewis Warrington, as of yesterday. So maybe we made a mistake on him. No, I don't think we have, seriously. Ashley Phillips, because I do think as up and down as he's been, he had a few performances here, which were very good, and in a back line that has been majorly unsettled this season, both with keeper changes and wingers playing at fullback and fullbacks being played on the wrong side. I mean, you name it, it's happened. So yeah, it's got to go to Ashley Phillips, being 18 years old and not looking out of place at times in the Championship. I think he's got to deserve a mention.
I'm really sad we're not going clockwise.
No, I'm delighted we're going anti-clockwise. My job is very easy. Finn Azaz, on to you, Sam.
I forgot he was on loan.
You forgot he was on loan, didn't you? That's what you've done there. Yeah, you forgot he was on loan. It's obviously Finn Azaz. I'll nominate Kundal because I thought he was quite good, but it's going to be a very quick vote. On to John.
Oh, John, you can't nominate your mate, Finn. Who are you going to go for?
Do I have to nominate someone else? I will, in that case, brain scans in real time to remember who we had on loan in the first half of the season. I will, in that case, nominate Kane Kessler-Hayden. I think he deserves to be on the shortlist.
That was a really good brain scan, seeing as I put the comment on the screen to help you out there. Oh, that's a shame.
Thanks.
That's good. I'm going to go for Darko JB, just for his one appearance up at Middlesbrough. Ben?
Who have I got left? I mean, we want to party with my girl wants to party with Alfie Devine. I think it's the only option left of anyone who's played decent minutes. So yeah, let's go for that performance against Hull where he harried the midfield. That earns him the loan of the season and the promise of coming back and doing it for us all of next season when we push for the playoffs.
And if he does come back, we want Party with Divine to be next season's chant of the season, and we will get that going, won't we, Samuel? I think we've all answered that, really, isn't it? It's Finn Isaac Azaz of Middlesbrough who wins our loanee of the season. Any objection?
Do you know that Azaz, by a lot of the who scored and thought about that, Azaz is like the second best player at Middlesbrough this season, let alone the second best player at Argyle. So that just shows how good a season he's had, that he was able to pick up those sort of metrics, playing half the season with us, struggling where we were, let alone sort of, and then not getting, many starts, etc. at Borough. So just a fantastic season for him. And he's going to go on to massive things, isn't he?
Exactly that. So the winner of loanee of the season, not much contest, as we've already said, is Finn Isaac Azaz. Ben, keep your stats to yourself, as there's a little award coming up later on. So keep it to yourself for now. Moving on to young player of the season. I'm flexible as long as they're young enough. You can nominate them. I think the club's
young enough, like 23.
Finn, if you think they're young enough, you can nominate them. All right. Well, I'm not gonna be sitting here Wikipediaing when they were born.
Can I nominate Adam Forshaw then by that very flexible logic as our young player of the season? No. Scratch that from the record. I'm being annoying.
He's young compared to you, Samuel. Go on, John. Why don't you start? We'll go clockwise. It's only one real answer. You just spit it out and get it over and done with if you like.
Morgan Whittaker is 23, and since you have ruined this category by not insisting on any rigid rules,
all right, they have to be under 23 then, John. God, you're a stickler for rules and permutations.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Morgan Whittaker turned 23 on the 7th of January. So
I said under 23 now.
Under 23 at the start of the season. No, and now to end the season.
I'll nominate first half of the season. I'll nominate Morgan Whittaker until the 7th of January. There we go.
Well, yeah, if it was after the 7th of January, he wouldn't be winning any Player of the Season awards. Absolutely not. Go on, Sam.
Freddie Asaka. Some good promising cameos when he's played. It's not been much of a season for young players, has it really? I mean, nobody really under 23, under 22 has played much, have they? Phillips and Devine on loan. I'll go Asaka. He obviously is one of our own, has the potential to really thrive, hopefully get a loan, maybe in League 2 next season, if maybe National League. Freddie Asaka.
Adam, do you fancy just putting us out of our misery and just saying the actual answer so we can just nominate him and vote and move on?
Absolutely not. I want to bring Kane Kessler-Hayden back into the equation. So, I mean, I know he's not the obvious. He wasn't the obvious for the young player either. For the lone player either. But for the sake of giving him credit, because I think it may well be yourself, Ben, that's mentioned it quite a few times. I tend to agree that I think he was missed in the second half of the season quite a bit more than I think we first thought he might be. So, yeah, he gets a mention from me.
Yeah, he was going to be my unironic choice, to be honest.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, just put us out of our misery and just say the actual answer.
Ashley Phillips.
Thank you.
I'm going to be really, really annoying here. I probably would genuinely say Devine over Phillips. I'm sorry. I'm so contrarian. I know that Devine started slowly, but actually, and he's my mate from the Barbican, obviously. But apart from that, I actually think Devine had quite a lot of, in this sort of early Foster era, before it all went to absolute hell in a handcart, like the Cardiff game, Swansea away. Devine was actually involved in a lot of good attacking plays in those games. Yes, he then went downhill, but then obviously really picked back up again. That second half at Stoke, he was our only player to come out of any credit, and he was fantastic on the last game of the season. Phillips had some good moments, but I do think he made a lot of mistakes as well. He's 18, understandably, but I guess the whole concept of young players who has thrived most despite their age. I actually think it's Devine over Phillips. I'm sorry, I'm going to get slaughtered in the comments for that, but there we go.
I actually really like his red card against Bristol City, so... Yeah,
brilliant. I'm gonna just throw a slightly different name out there. Obviously didn't feature for the first team, but it would either be like a Joe Hatch or a Tegan Finn. They absolutely teared it up for the academy on their way to lifting. Teared it up, tore it up. There we go. Mr. English teacher, like as has been mentioned, it does feel like a parents' evening in here tonight. We'll go. I'm going to go for one of those. Let's say Tegan Finn, young lad, looks like he's absolutely going to tear it up in future. Double silverware for the academy, but I think we can't really go against the public vote in which I now can't find, in which Ashley Phillips won 71.4%. The public vote for young player of the season.
What about one who hasn't been mentioned? Will Jenkins Davis had a good time on loan at Ted Key.
Brilliant, thank you. Fantastic. Are we going with Ashley Phillips? Seriously?
My sincere vote is Asaka.
I'm genuinely going to go Devine. Sorry, and John's just gone Asaka.
I actually voted for Asaka, no joke, in the poll, so I will go Asaka.
Go on then, Adam.
Do you know? I mean, who am I to deny the televote what they want? Let's go for Phillips.
Well, that's not sorted anything. Thanks, Adam.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
joint winners. Can we have joint winners?
No, hang on. We've got two for you. You've said Phillips, and
we've got two for Phillips,
John and
two for Asaka, two for Phillips. You've gone for Devine for some stupid reason. And then
what Ben? What did Ben?
Kane Kessler-Hayden.
We'll see your actual vote.
And then we defer to the public, don't we?
Okay.
No, we defer to the public.
Yeah, Philip. Right, tell you what, I'll use my runoff vote. I'll use my runoff vote to say, yeah. No, wait, it's not a runoff. Yeah, because I'm at Devine, he's not on the top two. Yeah, I'll give my runoff vote to Ashley Phillips, then go on.
I reckon Keith Harris gets the deciding vote. So
Man of the absolute people over here, Sam Down, going with a public vote. We'll get to that later. Right, moving on. So we've done. Oh no, player of the season. That's what normally follows. Young player of the season. Not me thinking that we just did player of the season. Player of the season. Adam, why don't you start?
Are we going to be on this one for long? I can't imagine so. Any advance on Morgan Whittaker? Wonderful. Yeah.
Not for me.
No,
Cheers, everyone.
Whittaker.
Anybody else?
I'll nominate Lewis Gibson because he deserves to be on the shortlist.
Oh, of course, John. John has to be different. Anybody else? Ben, would you like to be different as well?
Those two really should, I think, can be the only shouts.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'll actually shock you. Jordan Houghton got more votes in the poll, only by one. Jordan Houghton got 7.8% of the vote, but Morgan Whittaker got 72.7% of the vote. Lewis Gibson came in third. So Morgan Whittaker, I think, be absolutely silly. Does anybody want to have a word on Morgan Whittaker before we lose him ahead of next season? I think we've done it quite a bit in the pods over
Congratulations on your engagement.
Oh yes, of course. Yes.
I was going to say, when he looks back on today, this will be the best thing that happened to him, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Not many people win an Argyle Life award and a future wife on the same day. So congratulations to Morgan and to Rachel, soon to be Rachel Whittaker, on their engagements.
On a related note, my girlfriend did ask if we were going to have a WAG of the season. I don't know if that's on your list of awards. In conjunction with this, I would like to nominate Rach by acclamation for WAG of the season.
All right, let's do it. I have got written down Players Relative Social Media Award. I think Ben might have his own nomination. He might have two, actually. Go on, John. So John's nominated Rachel. Go on, Ben.
It's like asking me to choose which of my kids I love more, to ask me to choose between Rachel, Agent Mickey, and Nana Sandra. It's like I don't think I can. I think I have to abstain from this one. I mean, I did come up with a song for Nana Sandra, and she is a regular viewer, so I suppose that would probably have to, as much as I love Agent Mickey and Rage, and genuinely, if I'd have been out on the Barbican, it would have been those two I'd have been more excited about meeting than the players, which says a lot about how weird I am. But I think because she's a regular viewer, and she's so lovely, it's gonna have to be Sandra for me.
It's got to be Sandra as a regular.
Putting aside sentiment and looking at the underlying data, Rach is posting at a level we just haven't seen from an Argyle WAG/affiliate in many, many years. A snip at £1 million from Swansea, I would say, for the underlying metrics of posting that she has contributed. So for me, I think this is ridiculous to say there's any competition here.
Do you think they've collectively had a better day, being nominated for 2 awards and getting engaged? What a day! What a day! Personally, I would.
Aaron, she excels at all forms of engagement. What can I say?
Absolutely. If she wants a job taking over the Argyle Life socials, why have you got a picture of me on your?
He's still signed into your StreamYard, isn't he?
Right, go on, Sam. Anybody to nominate? Michael Cooper's girlfriend.
Yeah, she tweeted something a little bit towards Foster, didn't she? But let's be honest, they were all doing that at that point. Yeah, indeed. I'm. Let's be honest, it's got to be down to 3. I think the others are all a little way off. So it's between Sandra, Mickey, and Rachel, of course. I saw a great tweet by Mickey at the full time saying Joe Edwards scoring the goal at the final day was so fitting after what he was put through, which, can't agree more.
There's a comment on screen that asks if I've got some secret love affection for Nana Sandra. I must apologise. I didn't realise I'd kept it a secret. I thought I'd made it quite publicly known. But yeah, I do love Nana Sandra.
I'm just putting a poll in the YouTube comments. Adam, have you got anybody to add?
No one to add. I just wanted to add to the Nana Sandra love. I'm not going to compete with you, Ben, for her affections. I know that's quite advanced at this stage, but for a regular viewer and contributor not to not to take this one home would feel quite sad. So thanks, Sandra, as ever, and see you next season.
What I've done, as I've said, I've put a poll in the YouTube comments. So if you're not watching on YouTube, go over there and vote now. Sandra is absolutely walking it, I'm going to be honest. So our social media personality of the season goes to Nana Sandra Hardy. If you are watching, Sandra, give us a little thumbs up on Facebook. It pops up on my screen. Absolutely love that. Big fan of that impromptu award. Moving on to some Argyle Life based awards. The next one, Ben, I mean, you've blurred yourself tonight, but you are involved in its worst curtains of the year. Do you want to talk about do you want to sell your floral doofers behind you?
Absolutely not. I don't want to win the worst curtains of the season. So I'll just say that they look amazing. It's a shame you can't see them because of the blurred background, but trust me, they're certainly not the worst. If my wife wins worst curtains of the year, then I won't be let out to play anymore. So it's definitely not mine.
John, your Airbnb gets a lot of stick. He still gets mentioned now. Would you like to? Do you want to pitch for worst curtains for your ye olde Airbnb?
Well, look, we are a club that have obviously had a lot of success in the loan market in recent seasons. You know, identifying things that don't belong to us and having a great deal of success with them. So I think in that spirit, it would only be right to nominate a pair of curtains that had a brief, glorious spell in the Argyle Life spotlight, but then unfortunately were recalled by their parent club, whatever the late Peak District Cottage Company was called, due to a clause in the contract. I'm sure they'll go on to do absolutely great things as well, maybe in the background of some other fan podcasts in future. You know, maybe who knows, they might even, if I decide I want to go back there at some point, make a shock loan return to Argyle Life. So I think just in the spirit of the club's transfer strategy, I would say that they really should be in with a shout.
Sam, somebody that made the poll, made the final four, and as you know, has a lovely head of hair. Any word for Callum Wright's curtains?
I don't really get the joke with that. When have we seen his curtains?
His hair.
Well, it's a hair joke. It's a hair joke. Right, it's a hair joke. Sorry. Yeah. I was daydreaming with that one. I wasn't quite paying attention clearly. Great head of hair, I guess.
As the only one here capable of modelling that, I will do it for you all.
I don't know what's left. Adam, do you want to nominate Joe's tartan shopping bag?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I was on the other day seeing them. They kind of mesmerised me a bit like John's doing now. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Can you really be the worst curtains if you're mesmerising? I don't know. I'm going to leave that to the rest to decide. But Joe certainly deserve a mention because I could not take my eyes off them.
I don't know what we're going for. I think we need to refer to the public vote on this, and I'm aware that you guys don't know what.
Can I just say what a disgrace it's been that Sam hasn't had a chair all season? I say that from a massive chair fan. So.
There are actually 2 episodes where I've had a chair. When I'll let Finn have his moment.
Moving on.
Sensational.
Can I say briefly that, like, if you told me a year ago that 2,100 people would be sat there listening to us talk about curtains while I'm sat here in Mumford & Sons tribute act, then I would absolutely not have believed you. So thank you all. I have no idea why anyone is watching this truly, but
it's sensational. It's actually I've tweeted it many times. It actually blows my mind that people actually watch this. And John, you are absolutely right.
The top row looks like Mr. Tumble later with Jules Holland and Phoenix Knights from where I am.
2,100 people are listening to us talk about curtains. You're absolutely right, John. Whilst you are doing that, it's absolutely sensational. The fact that some of us are in relationships is absolutely mad. The public vote, Ben, you'll be delighted to know, with 15.6% of the vote, you came in last. So you could argue you've won best curtains.
not curtains.
Second.
That's definitely what I'll tell the wife.
Second, John, your ye olde Airbnb. Third is Joe's tartan shopping bag. No, not third. Second, whatever. Words, stats. That's not my job. Joe's actually come second, and the winner is actually Callum Wright's Barnet, which is absolutely sensational. So congratulations to Callum Wright for having the worst curtains at the club. I suppose we're not at the club. Whatever, doesn't really matter. What's next? Should we move on? Right, podcast moment of the year. There were some sensational answers, and we boiled it down to where are the polls? Can't remember. Boiled them down to the top 4 were Ben's Sandra Hardy chant, my intros and mentioning Norwich, John managing to rattle as many fan bases as possible, and literally just Sam Down standing up managed to make the top 4. I don't know if anybody has anything else they want to add to that list or that they want to, nominate.
I can imagine too many cooks spoil the brothel was just a bit too late to make the list.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
Shame.
Joe Bell, speaking about brothels, was mentioned.
It's got to be the moon landing theory. It's got to be up there. Sorry, Joe, if you're watching.
We still need an Argyle Life conspiracy theories pod. Like that needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've got a bit of time, and I'm sure if you want to produce that.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm sure we can do that.
I do quite like when other fans of other clubs or listeners from other clubs sort of take umbrage or clip us up, especially when we've needled someone enough that they've gone out of their way to make a meme or a video.
It's the Stoke fans, isn't it? It's the Stoke fans. The way they edited me into some very compromising pictures with clips from me in the podcast. I take my hat off to them. They were very, very funny.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about the needle. So that's my favourite thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're not actually wearing a hat, Sam, for audio listeners. John, anything you want to add there? Womp womp.
I'm confused as to why I've been nominated for rattling.
You've only ever told the truth. Well, yeah,
you go on a podcast, you make some good faith, sincere comments about, and other clubs, histories, and this is the reaction you get. So you obviously can't win, can you? Really these days?
You cannot win. I'm just going to read some of them out. The outpouring of joy after we stayed up. I love the part where you talk about car insurance. I think that one's for you. Adam, Divine's song, the homage to Joe Edwards. The bloke from Norwich saying he's from Norwich. Sam thinking Foster would be an upgrade on Schumacher. That is a sensational bit of remembering. Thanks for that.
I said could be. And actually, you know what? On the Post Swansea podcast, I was the one actually saying we're going a bit too soon with that. Just saying.
Okay, if you say so. Sam having no chairing it, becoming Argyle legend. The Tatsu interview. We've done it again tonight. If you missed that, do rewind and find that. Not as good as our first interview, I don't think, John. But, an impromptu Tatsu arrival is always welcomed. The pie face meltdown post / Ian Foster's sacking. And there's an awful lot of people just talking about Sam Down's ceiling. I don't know if you guys have a standout winner that you want to. Oh, here's one. When John shuts up. That's quite nice.
What a feeling when we're looking at Sam Down's ceiling.
Yeah. I think we get that would be my personal one.
I do think the best thing is that we've got like regular listeners who support the show, and we've sort of got in jokes like the ceiling and the hot tub and the curtains and stuff. I think that's really cool that we have a kind of community. I think that's probably, in all sincerity, as much as some of the other stuff's funny, it's awesome that we get to share this. And it's great. It's great that we have like that. Is an example itself of just like it's class that even if we don't get to, there's a whole group of us. We don't see each other on match days necessarily, or even live in the same cities, but we all sort of can have a giggle about stuff together. I think that's really quite a cool thing, and I came on board this season, and it's been really I'm going to sound a bit wet, but it's been class to be involved in. It's been really good, and I think that being able to see the comments on the screen and sort of have a kind of community is really quite a smart thing.
Yeah,
right, sincerity aside, it's Joe Bell and the moon landings, I'm afraid, for me, Clive.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to agree.
Yeah, all right. Joe Bell's moon landing theories, which we will explore, hopefully. I'm not going to promise that because that does sound like a waste.
Unlike the moon.
Unlike the moon, indeed. We may or may not explore it. I can't remember what's next. So congratulations, Joe, who is watching. I did ask him to send me a little video saying thank you. I don't know if he's done that. I can't imagine he has, but we'll get him on and we'll get him to thank you. Right, we've done podcast moment. Before we go on to the People's Podcaster, which absolutely pointless doing a poll for. We do have Stat Man of the season. Obviously, if you haven't listened to our stats pods, just to give a little bit of praise to the four nerds who talk about XG and data and stuff that I don't really understand and leave them to it. Normally run by, or not normally, always run by James Stables of One Team in Devon. If you haven't subscribed to his Substack, go and do that. I would say I'd leave a link below, but I most probably won't. I'll forget to do that. But if I do, you'll find it there. Go and subscribe to that. Statman of the season. It is actually incredibly close. So I wouldn't normally say who made runner up. But unfortunately, Adam, you are in second place.
Well, do you know what? That is a lot better than the fourth I was expecting. And I just wonder, have I lost to the professional statistician or not?
Well, he might think of himself as a bit of a professional. The winner is actually Ben. Congratulations. Public vote, unless anybody here wants to upsurge the public vote.
I'd like to.
I think we all would. Both of us, wouldn't we? Would like to nominate our favourite Italian.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a bit of a travesty that I've won ahead of Adam, who's been doing all the transfer stat bits for the website for ages. James, who you said puts together the pods, and most importantly, the actual professional statistician. He works for like actual TV companies and sports groups and things. So that's I can only apologise to Alberto Laucello for winning the award ahead of him. But it's really sweet that people have voted for me. Thank you. I'm very bad at accepting any kind of sort of recognition, and I don't. The stat stuff is really not. I think I've probably been voted for my outrage and outbursts about stuff as much as for the actual information that the stats provide. But that's it's good. It's good that people enjoy my sort of like my arguing and my wranglings about stats and trying to bring that into the conversation. Thank you.
I'm very bad at taking credit, Ben said, pulling a sheet of paper out of his jacket pocket for anyone who is listening back to this later. Just like to thank a few people.
Now it's won me over, though, no matter how rehearsed it was. Now I don't want to take it away from him and give it to Alberto. It's tough.
When I was a young boy reading stats from a book, I only ever dreamed of moments like this.
Absolutely sensational. I don't think there's any other awards you guys want to just randomly chuck in before we do the People's Podcaster of the Year. I thought we'd chuck in something. We'll let the people, as you've already mentioned, Ben. It's absolutely brilliant to have a community. It's absolutely brilliant to wake up sometimes and see that I've been memed up. Absolutely no reason, chucked into a Norwich.
That one of me and you, Aaron, on Ben Wayne and Adam Randall's faces, that had me in absolute hysterics. Absolutely. Credit to the fantastic Nick from Argyle Memes. That one had me bent over double.
The best bit.
To break data protection, Sam's comment in the group chat was, "This man is a menace and must be stopped." I think with the reaction to that. That be?
But a brilliant one.
I showed Hope, my other half, that photo, and she said, "See, look, you can look fit," which was really really good confidence. I needed. So it did make me start hitting the gym again. You won't see the progress yet. Hopefully next season I might win biggest loser of the year or something. But on to the People's Podcaster of the Year. If anybody's prepared a speech, it's most probably definitely him. Adam, I did the runner-up in the Statsman pod, so I'm going to do it again. Somehow I finished second in this, but the winner by an absolute country mile, as the people in the comments are shouting for, is Mr. Samuel Down, who took home 41.4% of the vote. I won't say who come last. They won't be very happy. But I know who came last. If there was a winner for worst podcaster. But yeah, well done, Sam Down, the People's Podcaster, the People's Champion. How do you feel?
Only joking, John. Yeah, I feel absolutely humbled by not, obviously this award's a bit of fun, but just the amount of you who tune in to watch us talk about football is mind blowing to me. Like, I'm drunk half the time at games. I don't even remember half of it. No, that's kind of a joke because I do watch things back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's a joke because I do have good memory and I watch things back mostly. But I just can't believe that how this has been. Like John said, if you'd have said to me at the start of the season that if you'd have said we'd be doing lives at all, I'd be shocked because we've only started doing lives this season. But I'm now on the big screen, amazing. If you'd have said to me that we'd be doing lives with 2,000 people or more watching, amazing. I really appreciate it. I love that you guys have voted for me, and I love, more importantly by far, the fact that you guys are watching and commenting in your, what's the word I'm looking for? Hordes, I guess, and that you're all enjoying the content that we put out, and it really does absolutely make it worth it. Keep tuned to Argyle Life. There's a lot more to come. We're going to be doing some stuff over the summer. Maybe around the Euros, maybe around some nostalgia content. We're going to be making some exciting changes to the website soon, which you'll all hear about quite shortly. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed all the memes, all the funny comments. Thank you so much.
Oh, wait. Sorry. Moonlight. You guys are the winners.
Very good. Nobody will get that, but that's very good.
That's it. That's incredible.
No, please don't turn the Wi-Fi off. Please don't actually do
that. That's an incredible speech for your runners-up award, Sam. And the real winner is no, but John's already stolen that joke. Yeah, as John has been mentioned in the comments there, Sam just leaking half of this summer's Argyle Life plans. I think. Looks like Sam's Wi-Fi is actually gone, which is incredible. Thanks, George. Yeah. Where was I going with this? I'm rambling. There's 2,300 people listening right now. He's back. That's good.
That should be a late entry for pod moment of the year.
Yeah, that's the biggest gaff. That is the biggest gaff of the year. That.
Yeah.
I know he didn't answer. So I just went onto my hotspot in anticipation of him turning the Wi-Fi off, and I didn't realise that would boot me off the call.
Everyone's here blaming George, and actually Tatsamaki is just sat there downstairs, like holding the cable in his hand.
He just cut it in half. It's just like, that's class. But as has been mentioned, obviously 2,300 of you tuning in for this is absolutely mad. I'm very warm, half cut from multiple vodkas whilst we've been recording this, and I think I've got sunstroke. So I think we'll call that a night. But thank you, as always, to everybody watching and listening. And thank you to the five that have joined me tonight, the others who were in the People's Podcaster Award, the people that have joined us this season. I've already done a big thank you, so I'm not going to do it again. But obviously, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
And very quickly, I'm ruining your ending, but I have to. Aaron, thank you as well. Did an absolutely sterling job hosting, and somebody's got to thank you. So you can't thank yourself. So the job you do hosting, editing, you're a very, very deserved People's Podcaster, in my opinion. So thank you to you, Aaron, as well.
No, I didn't win it, Sam. So it doesn't matter what you think. Didn't win it. But anyway,
you got my vote. I'll tell you that. I didn't vote for
Look,
myself.
Aaron, much like Ipswich Town, Aaron had the best he is the best podcaster that this podcast has ever seen, and he came second.
Oh, brilliant. That's yeah.
Sorry, yes, Joe in the comments quite rightly said he hosts as well. I was kind of assuming Joe was covered by Aaron thanking everyone else, but specific thanks to Joe also, yes.
And thank you for the people in the comment backing me up as the best host. Joe, do better next season. And like I said, we'll try again. Anyway, cheers, guys. I'm just clicking click end stream, and apologies to the audio listeners that are going to understand none of the jokes about the comments and stuff. So make sure you go and find us on YouTube and give us a little watch there if you want. They have to. Anyway, love you. Bye.